Fourth and final day of competition at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games, and we are about to find out who has some gas left in the tank. Thanks for joining us, everybody, here in Madison, Wisconsin. I am Sean Woodland alongside Bill Grundler, and Mike Arsenault is on the competition floor. Event 12, the two-stroke pull, and it's all about engine.
It is all about engine. It's not technical at all. It's just about how much pain are you willing to endure for all 5 of those rounds. We got an 18-minute time cap for these guys, which will not be a problem.
The top 20 men in the overall standings are on the field. And in lane number 13, a young man who is making his debut at the CrossFit Games, the first Frenchman to represent his country here at this competition, Willie Georges. Fantastic night last night. For more on that, let's send it down to Mike Arsenault.
Thank you, Sean. Willie stared down Matt Fraser last night in the bicouplet and beat the defending champ in event 10 and event number 11. The bicouplet took place in the middle of the night in France. This morning, Willie woke up to over 500 messages of support and congratulations. The smile on his face last night was still there in the warm-up area this morning.
Thank you, Mike. Speaking of Matt Fraser, once again, he is your overall leader, and he has a stranglehold on the top of the overall standings.
Well, we really thought that we would see a different year with a lot more pressure on him. Saw a little bit of a falter, but he is right back to doing what he does best, which is all confidence and all power and just domination. This guy is, man, he's unstoppable.
While Matt Fraser has basically locked up a spot on the podium, Lucas Högberg looking to stay there.
And Lucas Högberg, if you put an event that has pure power and grit on the field, then he's going to do really well. And across the field in this competition, he's done well with that. So I expect to see him really push Matt in this event.
Second and final heat of event 12 as we kick off the last day of competition here at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games, and it's a quick 300-meter run back into the other side of the North Park.
Yeah, quick 300-meter run, but you know what? This is an easy part to start with, but that will be a very painful 300-meter run along with the other segments that they have to do, and it's ride the lightning, and the lightning that I'm talking about is that assault bike. I think all these guys are going to basically run about the same. They're not going to overkill themselves, but it comes down to that bike and save the last dance. It's about that last 5th round on that assault bike. You can literally cut off anywhere from 30 to 40 seconds of time just by being able to have enough gas to blast that last round on that assault bike.
The athletes have to return to the lane from which they started. That is Lucas Eschlinger, first man back, but he has to run all the way back to the end of the field as he is in lane 2 to hop on his bike. James Newberry there with no shirt on. He's on the bike. And now we get into the meat of the first round of this event. These are the standings coming into this 12th event on this 4th day of competition. The athletes do not know how many events remain here on day number 4, but Matt Fraser with a 138-point lead over Patrick Vellner. The most points you can score in an event, 100. So Pat Vellner would have to win this event and hope that Matt Fraser finishes towards the bottom in order to cut significantly into his lead.
You know, he's been doing amazing, absolutely amazing this entire week of competition with all the foul-ups and the issues he's had to deal with, and coming back and sitting in that very solid second place position. And again, this is going to be a good event for him. He's a very powerful athlete. He's good on the assault bike, and his endurance has been incredible.
Rasmus Anderson and Lucas Högberg are the first 2 men done with their 20 calories on the assault bike. As far as scoring is concerned, each round has 22 repetitions. The run counts for 1, the bike counts for 20, and the pull counts for another 1. And Lucas Högberg, in the bottom right of your screen, is the first man done with that initial 44-foot pull. There are 110 total repetitions in this event.
Lucas Högberg, larger athlete, strong athlete. Matt Fraser. Now, the thing with Matt is he knows exactly what he needs to do, and he's going to be chasing those guys up in the front.
Second of 5 rounds here in event number 12, the opening event of the final day of competition. And it is Lucas Högberg who is the leader in this event. And Högberg currently sitting in third place overall, looking to stay on the podium for the first time in his career here at the CrossFit Games. Högberg making his 4th career appearance. His prior best finish was 14th in 2016.
Now Högberg, even though he's up in that front spot, you know, he is trying to push himself against Matt Fraser as much as possible. He needs to be careful that he hasn't blown himself out that first round. We're into that second round. All these guys, 20 calories on the assault bike. These guys can all hammer that in a normal situation, get rid of it in about 15 seconds. However, the bike is very painful. It takes a lot out of you, so they need to be very smart. They had about, Lucas had about 42 seconds on the bike the last round. Great set, but he wants to make sure he can kind of keep that so he can have a good 20-second round, that final 5th round.
Lucas Högberg, his name highlighted in the blue box, signifying that he is the leader in this heat. He is through 36 repetitions, 110 total. At 44, he will finish round number 2. Matt Fraser right next to him. If Fraser just stays close to Högberg and Vellner, he will continue to have a sizable overall lead as Högberg works his way back to that 183-pound sled that he needs to drag, pull towards him 44 feet.
You know, we saw Lucas in the crit in the beginning of the week, was able to just push and push and push. We saw the same thing on the row. We saw the same thing yesterday in the Chaos event. This kid can drive, and as long as he keeps that confidence, he's going to do amazing.
Högberg is done with his second round. Rasmus Andersen, he's on the right of your screen, is in second, and Björgvin Karl Gudmundsson, Lucas Eschlinger, the man on the left of the screen, are fighting for second place now as Eschlinger and Andersen back on the run at the same time, and Alex Anderson is done as well. Lucas Högberg is looking for his second career event win at the CrossFit Games, and coincidentally the last event he won required a lot of grunt work. That was Sandbag 2015.
I mean, that's just what this guy does. I mean, you put a very classic grunt work, hard work, how much can you endure the pain sort of event in front of him, and he just handles it.
Alex Anderson in front of Matt Fraser, the overall leader, looking to be crowned fittest man on earth for the 3rd straight time. Fraser coming into this event with a 138-point lead over Patrick Vellner. Third of 5 rounds here in event 12 on the final day of competition at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games, and it is that man, Lucas Högberg, who leads this event as he looks to keep himself on the podium. Högberg coming into this event in 3rd place overall.
Lucas Högberg has done an amazing job of keeping his splits pretty close from the first round to this particular round. He's only dropped off about 35 seconds, so that's impressive with all the work that these guys have had to put in.
Lucas Högberg is trying to hold off Brent Fikowski, who is the man right behind him in the overall standings, and right now Högberg can earn 100 points if he stays in front. These are the standings coming into the event. Matt Fraser has a lock on the top spot on the overall leaderboard. Vellner sits in second, and Högberg gunning for his first ever podium finish at the CrossFit Games. 66 repetitions will signify the end of this 3rd round. 1 rep for the run, 20 reps for the calories on the bike, and then 1 more repetition for the sled pull. So Högberg is on the sled pull here in his 3rd of 5 rounds.
Högberg looks spectacular. I haven't seen any sort of look of overstressed, or that he's gone over too far, or having any sort of big breath, which I did see with Matt Fraser. Looks like he's trying to conserve himself a little bit on that bike. But look how good, and you know, and now the pull is light. 183 pounds, not a big deal for these guys. It literally is the one position that Lucas is taking his rest, which is allowing him to run faster and be able to continue himself on that assault bike.
Brent Fikowski is the man who just extended his rope for his pull. He's the guy right behind Högberg in the overall standing. So Högberg looking to put some distance between himself and Brent Fikowski as Högberg is on to round 4. This is his 4th 300-meter run out and around the North Park here at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison, Wisconsin.
running relaxed. And check this out, running into the shade. Very smart move. Get off that hot pavement, try to get against that wall. Try to get into that sun, or out of that sun as much as possible, because it's hot out there.
Time to beat 14:01.64 seconds belongs to Tim Paulson, as Högberg has opened up a sizable lead on Brent Fikowski, who is the man in the red shorts in second place. Rasmus Anderson sits in third, and Matt Fraser, the overall leader, is in fourth in this event.
This is amazing for Högberg. You know, we talk about it's the last day. There's no reason to hold back anymore. It's time to go big. And if you're going to get your points, especially if it's an event where you can get your points, you got to swing for the fences.
Högberg back to the bike. And he is all by himself in the lead. Brent Fikowski, the man right behind Högberg in the overall standings, is back on the bike. Rasmus Anderson in the blue and Matt Fraser in the red shorts, all getting back on the bike as well. Fourth of 5 rounds.
And I don't really see anyone pushing extra hard on this last one. It looks like they've been riding that line as much as possible, so just trying to continue with that. Thought maybe Fikowski would try to bump it up just a touch to cut down on some of that time on the assault bike.
Lucas Högberg needs the win. Matt Fraser just needs to stay in the top 5, and he is ahead of Pat Vellner, that man who is in second place overall, 138 points back of Matt Fraser. If you win an event, you get 100 points. And then we move our way down the standings after that. The better you do an event, the more points you score. Lucas Högberg going for those 100 points and has continued a really solid pace here. We said this event was all about engine. We used the term red line a lot.
He was right on that line, knew exactly where he needed to be. And the great thing with Lucas now is he can see the rest of the field, so he knows exactly how fast he needs to pull that sled.
Brent Fikowski is getting set to start his fourth of 5 sled pulls. Högberg is done, and here comes Matt Fraser, the two of them passing each other as Högberg works his way back onto his final 300-meter run. Pat Vellner in the blue shorts is on the pull as well. Vellner also trying to keep himself in a podium spot. Fikowski is done. Matt Fraser on the left, closing out his fourth pull, 88 reps down.
And, you know, Matt's been very strategic in this event. I don't want to say I'm shocked to see that he's doing that, but he knows he doesn't have to crush himself here. Just has to have a good showing. And on every time he's been on the bike, he's been extremely relaxed. I haven't seen him overextend himself. So I want to see how much short is he going to be able to compress that time that he's going to be on the assault bike in the final round.
Lucas Högberg on his final 300-meter run, looking for the second career event win here at the CrossFit Games. His last one came in 2015. And those 100 points could not come at a better time, as Lucas Högberg is trying to finish on the podium for the first time in his career. Meanwhile, Brent Fikowski looking to get back on the podium. He finished second overall at the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games, right now sitting in fourth place. Högberg back into the North Park and works his way back to the bike for the final time in this event. Time to beat again, 14:01.64 seconds. That belongs to Tim Paulson, who did that in the first of these 2 heats.
So Lucas has been putting about 45 seconds to a minute on the bike. Let's see if he can really put it down, try to extend that lead, see how much he has left in the tank, because Fikowski can put a lot of power into that bike.
And you talked about it, save the last dance. We're going to see who saves some gas in the tank here for this final round. Brent Fikowski back on the bike for the final time. 20 calories they need to complete on that thing. And if you've never been on an assault bike, it's hard to explain how awful that thing is.
It's an absolute, you just literally put yourself into the fire. That's the best way to explain it. But look at the difference that we see in Lucas here on his tempo. Same thing with Matt. Matt looked like he was relaxing before. He's really putting a lot of energy into that bike here.
But Matt Fraser is currently 13 repetitions behind Lucas Högberg, who is now done with his fifth and final bike, and all that remains is a final 44-foot sled pull for Lucas Högberg as he is staring 100 points in the face. Brent Fikowski is off the bike. He's on the right of your screen now, upper right, as he is sprinting back to his sled. Lucas Högberg continuing to work. And Lucas Högberg will win event 12. Brent Fikowski looking to wrap up second place. Fikowski is in. That will close the gap between him and Patrick Vellner, as Vellner's still on the field. Now here's your overall leader, Matt Fraser, as Patrick Vellner will start on his final pull, and Matt Fraser is in. Patrick Vellner just trying to do damage control now, as he has to keep Brent Fikowski off of his back, and Vellner is done with the two-stroke pull. Lucas Esslinger has finished. And now Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson, Alex Anderson, here's James Newbury. Willie George has just closed out his event. Ben Smith is in the light blue shorts. He's getting to work on his final sled pull. Adrian Moonviller is in. He's the man who won the opening event here, the Criterium race. It seems like a week ago. Dean Linder-Layton is across. Ben Smith is finished. And now Noah Olson. Cole Sager is your leader on the field. 2.5 minutes to go before we hit the 18-minute time cap, and there is Cole Sager, who already has an event win under his belt here at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games, and now Cole Sager is across the finish line. Roy Gamboa finishes just ahead of him by a couple of seconds.
And Sean, look how this particular event is just leveling all the guys on the floor. Every single athlete's either laying down or on their knees. It's a painful one.
That's Scott Panchik getting himself across the finish line by any means necessary. Leaves Logan Collins and Cody Anderson, two of the smaller men in this heat on the field.
You know, when you're one of the smaller athletes, you just don't have as much oomph to get into those assault bikes. And I think that's where the damage was for them. It's not the sled, it's not the run. All these guys are going to run about the same. But that assault bike is no joke. And when you are a smaller athlete, you are at a disadvantage. Not saying you can't be awesome at it, i.e. Matt Fraser, but it definitely makes it more difficult.
Logan Collins is in, so Cody Anderson, the only man left on the competition floor, and Noah Olson is there encouraging Cody to get that sled across the finish line. It just has to get into the blue, and then Cody can turn around and cross the finish line, and that's that red section. And that'll do it for event 12. The two-stroke pull, and engines were tested, and that man proved there's still some gas in the tank for the big Swede.
You know, it's good to see him really go for it, and we wanted to see that. But right out of the gate, we knew this was going to be an exciting one, and we knew that it was going to be an acid bath for all these athletes. Lucas Högberg fighting with Matt Fraser. Matt looking around, doing what Matt does, trying to conserve himself, but Lucas did not do that. He basically said, hey guys, you know, this is my race, and I'm going to jump out in front, and I'm going to hold it out there. So that's exactly what he did. Got himself out in the front on the run, kept his lead on every single time that they were on the bike. The sled pull, not even a big deal. I like the fact that he was up nice and tall, allowing himself to breathe and conserve, because that was the one time he would have any sort of rest. But then look at this distance. Hanging out in the shade all by himself, trying to stay out of the heat, conserve that temperature difference, but all by himself. And was very aware of where everyone was. He was looking to see where Matt was, looking to see where Brent Fikowski was, but it just didn't faze him at all. He dominated this event. And man, talk about power and intensity. Definition right there.
Event results. Lucas Högberg, his first win of the competition, his second of his CrossFit Games career. Brent Fikowski finishes in second, and Matt Fraser increases his overall lead as he marches towards a third straight title of the fittest man on earth. But it's Lucas Högberg who is 100 points richer, and he is with Mike Arsenault.
Lucas, this event win will keep you on the podium, move you closer to the silver medal position. In an event like this, when we have three different movements, the run, the bike, and the pull, how do you decide on which movement to push the pace and on which movement to throttle back?
Yeah, for me, it was like keep the same pace all the time and try to push in the end. But on the run, I just tried to, like, fell forward and just like not using my quads too much. And then on the bike, I tried to push it as much as I could with my shoulders. So I were fresh for the run afterwards, so yeah.
You qualified for the CrossFit Games in 2014, 2015, 2016, missed out on qualifying by one spot last year. How did that fuel your training over the past 12 months?
Well, it gave me a lot, like not being able to compete for 2 years. It's, for a guy like me, it's really, like mentally hard. And being sick before the Open this year and almost not making it to the regionals, that was like even worse. So. But we put a lot of energy on the conditioning part and try to maintain the strength. So I feel pretty comfortable with events like this.
This is your first time competing in Madison. What is it like performing in front of the thousands of people here in Wisconsin?
They're amazing. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you.
Lucas Högberg looking to hang on to a spot on the podium, and right now he is 28 points up on Brent Fikowski. Matt Fraser's lead gets bigger. He's looking to wrap this thing up for the third straight year before the final event even starts. And it's Patrick Vellner who sits in second, but only 14 points over Lucas Högberg. The men are done. The women are up next. The 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games continue.